Yes, good evening. Welcome back, or good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. I am Savva, and today we've got Man City royalty from the YouTube world. We've got. How are you, Lewis? You good?
Yeah, well, football, not so. We've won one. We won one game in six, which was similar
Yeah.
to your club. But then we've left you. You won a couple of games, and now we're just doing our own thing. Life is good. Football on the pitch, not so good. But it is only temporary. Hopefully.
Yeah, you'll come back. You'll come back. I'm sure you will. And look, you've only lost one of those six, right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So one win, 4 draws, and a defeat. So listen, you'll be back. For anybody that's not tuned into one of these before, this is 10 in 10 with Football Heritage TV. We get ex-players, pundits, YouTubers, football fans, and we ask them 10 questions about their club and about football in general. There's no right or wrongs. This is their opinion. And we ask you to join in the chat, tell them when they're being wrong, tell them when they're right, tell them what you agree and disagree with. And we'll
You
take
just
it
said
from
there's
there.
no right and wrongs, and now the chat's allowed to tell me when I'm right and wrong, man. You set me up for failure, bro.
Basically, listen, nice and easy questions. 60 seconds per question. Are you good to go?
I am ready. Let's go.
Let's do it. Well, question one, nice and simple one. This is a really easy one. Who is the best Man City player that has played in the Premier League era and why? You've had a few.
Yeah. For me, Kevin De Bruyne. I think it was Sergio Aguero, but I just think Kevin De Bruyne he has everything. He has everything to his game: finishing, creating, work rate, driving from the back, leadership, unbelievable. Not everyone agrees with me from a City fan base. A lot of people say David Silva, and I understand why. I just think Kevin De Bruyne can do a little bit more than David Silva. He can finish, and David Silva wasn't the best finisher in the world. So for me, it's close. Him, Yaya, company, but for me, Kevin De Bruyne, bro, just has everything. I think he's the perfect midfield player.
And would you say that you're missing him more than ever right now?
I think so. And we're all hoping that he's the saviour to our season that can push us on to win this Premier League, because despite us not in a good run, we're only 5 points off the top, Savva. So, we're not a million miles away. We're hanging on by a thread, and we're just hoping. I think he comes back in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully, when he comes back, he's ready to kick us on and he can drive us to another Premier League. All our hopes are on Kevin De Bruyne.
There you go. Kevin De Bruyne it is, ladies and gentlemen. Not a bad player at all. That's obviously got to be followed up by, what's the worst Man City player you've seen in the Premier League era? Every club's got their bad players. You could give me 2 or 3 if you want. Who you picking?
Yeah. For me, we had a guy called Stephen Jordan,
I remember him.
I just couldn't. Yeah, it's not for me, man. I think he played for us in like, I don't know, 04, something like that, 05. I can't remember exactly the year, but mate, I just remember him, and I just thought, he just wasn't good for me. He wasn't good for me. Now, there are obviously other names in there. More modern era, Calvin Phillips is miles off the pace. If we come in a little bit into the modern days, he's just so slow, and like everything about his game is just slow, on the ball slow, his IQ slow, which is a shame because apparently he's a real nice guy. But yeah, they're the 2 for me that haven't really worked out. Claudio Bravo was a bit of a flop in his first season as well, but then actually done all right as a backup goalkeeper. But yeah, those 2 for me, bro, are probably the worst that I can think of right now.
Poor Calvin Phillips. Getting public apologies from your manager that you're not playing is never a good thing, is it? So, okay. Here's one. Forget Man City, or it could be a Man City player. Who's the best player to have played in the Premier League and why? Now, we've done this so far with about 30 different YouTubers, and we've had mostly the same 2 or 3 names, but a couple of left field ones as well. So interested to see who you want to give me.
Yeah. Okay. Henry's certainly up there for me. Kevin De Bruyne is certainly up there for me. I think he's the best midfielder that's ever played in this country, in my opinion. I think he's better than Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard. I think he's better than all 3 of those. So yeah, it depends on what you think. Is it De Bruyne? Is it Henry? Probably one of those 2 for me. I'm going to be biased and say Kevin De Bruyne. And
he's gone for it.
And it is bias. Obviously, it's bias. But I don't think it's completely unreasonable. Again, I think he's a complete midfielder. What weakness does he have? He's absolutely fantastic. He's won us Premier Leagues. I remember when he scored 5 at Wolves a couple of seasons ago. He's an unbelievable player. I'm going to be biased and say De Bruyne. But Henry, he's up there for sure.
I'm just waiting for all the chat to have a debate about Scholes, Gerrard, and Lampard, and you just going, he's better than all 3 of them. Just watch.
I think he's better than all three of them. I think he can do everything that all can do. You know, I think Scholes. I think he can do what Scholes can. I think he can do what the other players do as well. So for me, I think he's the best midfielder and best player to ever played in the Prem.
There we go. Let us know in the chat. What do you think? Kevin De Bruyne's name coming up a lot. This will be an interesting one. I'm wondering whether or not you're gonna put your Man City hat aside, or whether or not this is going to be the person I think you're going to say. Who is the best manager to have managed in the Premier League?
Yeah, this is just Man City bias, isn't it? I do think it is generally. I genuinely do believe it is Pep Guardiola. He has revolutionised football in this country, where everyone's playing this passing out from the back style. He's completely dominating football matches. He's changed football, in my opinion. He is fundamental. Like Sir Alex Ferguson, as good as he was, I don't think he changed football. I don't think he changed football at all in this country. Pep Guardiola has changed football up and down the country to where now everyone is trying to play out from the back. You know what I mean? You take your kids to football practice, they're all trying to play out from the back. When I was, they didn't do that. And people say Arsene Wenger did that. No, they didn't, because that didn't happen when I was playing football as a kid. It was still lump it up the pitch. Whereas now everyone's trying to play out from the back. He's revolutionised football. He's also managed two of the greatest football teams that I've ever seen, which was City last year, the treble winners, and that Barcelona team, which in my opinion is that's still the best team that I've ever seen, Barcelona. So it's not completely biased because I think they're better. And I just think he's the best manager. You know, some of the inventions that he does, putting a right back in midfield, putting John Stones as an attacking midfielder in the Champions League final to the point where John Stones had more successful dribbles in any Champions League final until you have to go back to 2009, I think, Lionel Messi. The last one that had that many dribbles. I just think he's revolutionised the game, Savva, and for that reason, he is the best Premier League manager of all time.
Yeah, listen, I think listen, I agree with you. As good as Ferguson was, Guardiola for me plays the football I like. And obviously, I always get told that, oh, you love City, you love Guardiola. But for me, it's the standards he's set are so high that if Man City, like you've won 1 in 6, and it's every other fan base loves it, don't they? Every other fan base is like, City are finished. They're dead. Guardiola's forgotten how to manage. And, you know, Vardy can't defend. And, you know, Haaland's rubbish. And that, for me, tells you that everybody is so jealous of what this man has done. So, listen, I hear you, man. I hear you. Top manager. Here you go. Here's one for question number 5. Who's the best footballer to have ever played the game and why?
Easy. Lionel Messi. Easy. He is, in my opinion, the greatest footballer of all time. I don't think we'll ever see a player like him again. He's still playing. But obviously at MLS, I don't know, man. Like, he's just an artist that works, Savva. And this is the difference between him and Ronaldo for me. Ronaldo is, and by the way, this is no slight on Ronaldo, not at all. But for me, Ronaldo is a product of work rate and effort. And again, that's not a dig. That shows you the levels that you can achieve by working hard. And obviously, he's got natural talent as well. Don't get me wrong. But Lionel Messi, for me, he was born to play football, that guy. He was born to play football. He's just had everything, you know. And we've heard it down the years. You know, I remember in the early days, but Ronaldo scores free kicks. Then Messi started scoring a load of free kicks. You know what I mean? I just think he's just, I don't know.
He's different,
I enjoy watching him play football. For me, he's the greatest player of all time, 100%. I've seen him at the Etihad a couple of times destroy us. I've seen him at at Camp Nou. He's fantastic, and that's why, Savva, I didn't lose my shit when Haaland didn't win the Ballon d'Or the other day, last month, because I can hold my hands up and say, you know what, it was obvious. I know he won the World Cup, but let's be honest, Haaland probably should have won it based on what he did. We can sit there and say, I'm accepting that this guy is giving me so many happy memories just as a football fan generally that I'm willing to say, you know what, he can take this Ballon d'Or because he deserves it based on what he's done in the game. Fantastic player.
I mean, everything. I mean, long. I think that everyone always groups him and Ronaldo together. And I used to ask this on the 10 in 10s. I used to ask who's better, Ronaldo or Messi. Then I thought, it's not fair. Let's see if anyone says Pele or Maradona or George Best, etc. The thing for me with Lionel Messi is, even when he's not scoring, what he contributes to a game of football is just mesmerizing. And that's the difference between him and Ronaldo for me. Is Ronaldo will score you hundreds of goals, so will Messi. But when Messi can't do that that I've got pace anymore thing up front. He drops into midfield and controls the game and wins them a World Cup. So yeah, just absolutely brilliant. And it's a shame we never got to see him over here. But let's head to the back five. At Man City, what's the most excited you've been for a new signing that then flopped?
Ooh, well, that's a good question. I don't know, man. There's been a few. I mean, Robinho was all right in his. People always think Robinho's a flop, but he was probably signed a little bit too early, in my opinion. But he actually started off his career at City really well, and then it sort of went downhill. But he actually, first couple of months, don't quite remember the stats, but he done all right. I remember when we signed Roque Santa Cruz, if you remember that, when we signed him from Blackburn. I thought, you know what, this is going to be a good one. Remember, I don't know if you remember Joe. We signed Joe from CSK Moscow.
He had the big afro, right?
Yeah, that's right. And you know what, Savva? That was the first time that I've ever been scammed from YouTube highlights. I don't know if you do this, but you know when your club's linked with a player that you've never heard before. You go on YouTube highlights and you watch one of those 10-minute YouTube compilation videos. And I watched it and I thought, oh my God, this guy's going to rip up the Premier League. I think he scored 1 goal in like 6 months or something. It was absolutely. I mean, he's better than Højlund. You know what I mean? That guy's still not scored a goal. But yeah, probably those couple of players, man.
Don't worry, we had. I mean, we'd all seen him play, but we had Ndombele, and you know, all the highlight reels still make Ndombele look like the greatest footballer that's ever played the game. But he just likes eating. So hey, it is what it is. This is one we've been getting lots of different answers to this question. If you could remove one thing from modern football, what would it be and why?
Only one thing, Savva.
Well, listen, I know. This is. You can give me a couple if you want. This is your time.
Okay, so for me, VAR, I'd scrap that straight away. I'd keep goal line technology and I'd keep the offside technology, but the UEFA one, the UEFA technology, not the one that we've got right now. I'd scrap VAR. I don't think it's ever going to work. I've never been a fan of it. Said before it came in, it's never going to work, and I don't think it will ever work because our game is based on subjective calls.
Right.
So this is why you get outrage. And then someone else will be like, why are you moaning for? Like, nothing's wrong. So I scrap VAR. I just think it's rubbish. Keep goal line technology, keep offsides, and let's go back to the way it was. We never used to speak about referees as much as we do now, and that's a fact. Goalkeeper protection is an absolute joke. If you
has this got anything to do with the game the other week against Liverpool?
It kind of has, but I've said it for years, and it's just like it just tops it off again. For me, let the goal happen, and if the goalkeeper thinks he's been fouled, does let the referee review it on VAR if you're keeping VAR in the game, and then if it's a foul, you can rule out they always protect the goalkeepers for some reason. Let him get took out, and then if the ball goes in the back of the net, review it. That's another thing. I think that referees in general are just shockingly bad at the moment. You know what I mean? I mean, the Diogo Dalot. I mean, I'm a City fan. The way that they sent Diogo Dalot off the other day, they're eliminating passion from the game. I'm all for Savva not going up to a referee, putting your head in his face, touching the referee, surrounding the referee, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. I'm all more game for trying to eradicate that. Eradicating passion for my game. You know, Diogo Dalot the other day was 15 yards away from the referee. He turned around and went like that because the referee made an incorrect call on the throw-in, right? Which was incorrect. Diogo Dalot was right. And then he got booked. And because he's frustrated, he's done it again and then got a second yellow. These referees are melts, mate. I'm calling it out there. You know, they want all this protection. Sack the protection. You get paid a wedge. If you can't take a little bit of swear words now and again thrown at you, I don't think you're in the right sport, man. In my opinion, that's my personal opinion. I know some of us will disagree. Like I say, no physical violence. I'm not asking 7 or 8 players to surround the referee, but we've all played the game. I've refereed the game, and I was quite happy for players to come up to me and say, "Ref, you got that effing wrong." You know what I mean? I'm like, sorry, mate. It's my call. It's what it is. If you can't take a little bit of banter or whatever, then the sport's not for you, in my opinion.
No, listen. Good answer. Look, question number 8. Let us know in the chat, by the way, what would you get rid of? Because VAR is coming up a lot. So let us know what you'd get rid of. Lee Gunner said he'd get rid of social media and then realized immediately, hang on, that's his full-time job. He'd get rid of social media. He loves it. If Man City could sign any 2 players in the January window, so just so everybody at home knows, we're filming this on the 18th of December. So the transfer window is, depending when you might see this video, the transfer window is 12 days away. Lots of people saying that you need to sign some players, LB, to stay in this title race. If you could sign 2, who would it be?
I would like Lucas Paqueta from West Ham.
Oof, good player.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, great player. Got 3 assists the other day as well.
Yeah, he was brilliant yesterday.
Madness. So
yeah.
Lucas Paqueta, I'd get him. I don't think West Ham would sell him. The reason I get him as well, just to give some backstory, is he's got a bit of fight about him. He's got that South American, aggression that I think we might be lacking a little bit at the moment. He can also create and score goals. He can do a little bit of everything. I really like him. Can play on the wings if you need him to as well. So
would he be more of a natural replacement for the Gundogan type player for you in terms of position on the pitch?
Possibly, but I'm thinking more Bernardo Silva replacement, because I think we're going to lose him in the summer because of his £50 million buyout. So I'm thinking be proactive there and get him in. But he could create as well. He probably does fit into that Gundogan mold. And then it's really difficult. We need someone to be able to play in that Rodri position when Rodri's not available. But I don't think you're going to be able to get a backup DM, because they're never going to play. They're only going to play when Rodri's injured or suspended, which is how many games a season? 10. So it's never going to work, because then they're never going to be match fit. So you kind of need someone like a Gundogan, like a Kimmich, who plays in midfield most of the time, but then can just drop back and play in that centre defensive midfield position for 5 games, 10 games a season when Rodri needs a rest, suspended, or is injured. Just like we did last year when Rodri got injured against United and Gundogan stepped in. We beat him 6-3, and Gundogan played in the 6th position in that game. You know, you don't need it. We don't need like a Palhinha. You know, we don't need a Zubimendi. A bissouma, because they're never going to play. We just need someone who can play midfield and then just drop back a little bit. So who that is, probably Kimmich is the obvious answer. There's rumours that he don't want to be at Bayern anymore. Could you get him out in January? Again, tough, but someone in that mould. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, it's so you've got the Kane conundrum that Spurs had for a decade. What striker do you sign that knows they're never going to play football? Listen, last 2 questions. I love this question. It's my favourite one of all the questions we ask. Is I want to know what the worst football opinion you've ever heard. Now, this can be from a YouTube channel. This could be from a pundit, a manager, a player. Some of the answers we've had to this have been about some of the YouTubers we work with, and it's very funny. So, worst opinion you've ever heard?
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky one, that, isn't it?
You can give me more than one as well. You can give me a few if you want.
Yeah. I'm gonna say League Gunners Danny Welbeck is better than Salah is quite a funny one. Although
we've had that twice before.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually said that. I'll have to watch the clip back, but I don't know if he actually said he's better than. I think he just said he's more technically gifted, which
I think he said he was technically better, but not a better player. But yeah, I told Lee when I did this with Lee, I told him that I think Matisse was either Matisse or someone else called him out for this very comment. So yeah, good old Lee.
Football opinions, just like all the football opinions of like maybe not like hot takes, but like people's opinions on Chelsea having just completely changed. Like, so this isn't really like a specific take. It's just like I speak to some fans, and I'm sort of like, this isn't acceptable for Chelsea being 10th after they spent £1 billion, and this is the 2nd season, by the way. And some fans are just like, well, it is what it is, and like I'm just like, no, this isn't. I'm not saying they have to go and win the league, but it's being so far down, and it's just sort of not accepted. It's the same with United. United fans celebrating a 0-0 draw at Anfield. You know what I mean? Like, what are these takes? Obviously, not really opinions, but it's sort of like the stances of the stages of football club now has changed. Where I do think standards in football have generally lowered, and I don't know why that has happened. But you would never have seen United 15 years ago celebrating a 0-0 draw at Anfield. You never seen Chelsea fans being content with winning 2-0 off Sheffield United, so now they're 10th in the league. I just think generally the worst football takes for me are just takes where you're accepting your club as you're accepting lower standards. So that's probably a bit different. But I can't really think of any other opinions off the top of my head, so I'll throw that one out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you didn't say it was Mr. Jennings and his Erling Haaland. Take last year.
That was a bad one.
Do you know the funniest thing? I always say about this. One day, if I see Rory Jennings, he's going to go, "You're always talking about me." But he loves it. He's made a career of it. It's that he got it so badly wrong, LB, right? And then this year, at the beginning of the season, even after he had like 8 in 8 or something, he doubled down on his opinion and was like, yes, he's not doing well.
You're right.
He's got like, what's he got this year? 14 in 14 or something.
Yeah, in all competitions now, I think he's on 24 in 22 games or something like that. So he's had no Kevin De Bruyne either, Savva. So wait until he gets back as well. That was a horrific one. And the whole disrespecting the heritage of the Premier League or whatever. And it's just like, what are you talking about, man? What are you waffling about? Come on.
Oh, good times. Listen, the last question. I want to know what that's not come up. There it is. What your most controversial opinion is. Now, when I'm asking this, what I'm saying is an opinion that you've got, mate, that you truly believe, but whenever you talk to other YouTubers, your mates about football, they're like going, come on, LB, come on, you surely don't mean that. Something controversial.
Controversial. Okay. Obviously, most of mine I accept about United because I was very salty growing up. As you can imagine, growing up in Manchester area, you know what I mean, where you're just getting absolutely smacked up. United are winning every week, and your team's just languishing in mid-table and the lower league. So I think Sir Alex Ferguson underachieved at Manchester United in Europe. Only won 2 Champions Leagues in 20 years. That doesn't get spoke about enough. Now, maybe I accept that it was possibly harder to win there, but he was there for 20 years and he only won 2. I don't think that's particularly very good. And I would also say another one is that Wayne Rooney, as much as I think he's a good player, massively underachieved in his career. And I think Rooney had the potential to be up there with Ronaldo and Messi, probably more towards the Ronaldo side, but because of the way that he treated his body, a bit like Ricky Hatton in the boxing, the smoking, the boozing, the junk food, that in the end didn't quite reach the potential. Now, I accept he had a great career, won Champions League. I think he's the top scorer for United ever or whatever. But I think that everyone who properly watched football and seen Wayne Rooney, I don't think it's that controversial, but it's controversial in the sense that United fans don't like hearing it. Honestly, I think he could have been up there with Ronaldo in terms of numbers. If you look at Rooney's numbers, they're not very impressive. His goals, they're not that impressive.
Not compared to the elite of football.
I think he got 20 goals in the Premier League twice in his whole career, which isn't that impressive. What I'm saying is, I think if he treated his body correctly, like the Ronaldos and the Messis of this world, like the James Milners, and proper focused on his career, I think he could have been hitting 30 goals a season in the Premier League for United every season, and because I don't think he's going to go down as one of the greats. That's the point I'm making. I don't think Rooney's going to go down as the great, and I think he had the potential. He had the potential to be one of the greats, and unfortunately, I don't think he's going to do that. Whether that's controversial or not, I don't know. But
listen, lots of people, when you say who's the best player you've seen, lots of people say Rooney, or the best player to play in the Premier League, Rooney. So yeah, I think it is controversial, but I don't necessarily think it's wrong. I don't think
I do think in terms of like normal natural ability, you know, I think he's one of the best players that's ever played in the Premier League based off of natural ability. My point is, I think we could have been talking about a Pele, a Messi, a Ronaldo in terms of legacy because of the ability that he had. But like a lot of sports people do, they don't treat their body right in the off season. And then, you know, you can't do that for 10, 15 years and expect to reach the heights. So yeah, probably that Rooney massively underachieved his career. He still had a mint career, I would say that.
There you go. What a way to end it on. Listen, LB, thank you so much for doing our 10 in 10 with us. For anyone that hasn't come across you before, I'm sure everyone has, where can they find you? Where can they go and subscribe?
Yeah, man. So my channel is It's LB. Do a lot of City content, but we do watch alongs of other teams as well. And then the second channel, More LB, for more general football takes. So more non-City related stuff on there. So yeah, big up for inviting me on, man. I appreciate it.
No, listen, the link to LB's channels is going to be in the chat. In the bio. Please go and subscribe to him. A really good content creator. Always enjoy sharing the screen with him. Please subscribe. And if you are watching this in and around the Christmas time, happy Christmas to you and your family as well. Take care, everyone. Until next time, we will see you later.